Welcome, everyone, to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 270 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today, I welcome producer and DJ Big O, who actually worked with Proven Knowledge a couple months ago on our debut instrumental EP called Summer Solstice. He did the intro track called Chaotic Joy, and he actually got in touch with me probably a few weeks later about being on the podcast. He's got a lot of cool projects out right now. He talked about his collabs with Prawb and Tranzformer, two albums that he put out, in the last few months. Definitely go check those out. He talked about the process behind those, some of his influences, including Madlib, The Alchemist, and Pete Rock. We had some really cool discussions about hip-hop, some of the albums that have come out in 2025, and he also told me more about the differences between living in the States and living in the UK, but not just living in those places, but also doing music in those places, and how the UK and overall, Europe in general tends to gravitate more towards supporting hip-hop and the beat scene, which I've heard from multiple people, but it was good to get that perspective firsthand. Overall, I just loved this conversation, felt super organic, and I thank Big O for taking the time out to join me this week. So hope you guys enjoyed this one as always. And without further ado, let's get into it. I appreciate you for staying up later, man, to do this.
So, there's no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Absolutely. Well, we'll just roll right in. We usually have the guests kind of give some background on how you got started in music, kind of what led you to music initially, and then just for those that might not know you and what you do, just kind of give a brief synopsis of who you are.
Oh, cool. Well, my name's Big O. I'm originally from the States, raised in Birmingham, Alabama, also in Atlanta, Georgia. Went to school in Birmingham. As soon as I graduated, moved back to Atlanta. From there, moved down to Orlando. I went to Full Sail University, and I went there for recording arts. Learned how to be a mixing engineer and all of that good stuff. And my audio career took off as soon as I moved down to Miami. Been traveling around ever since. Done a number of projects, worked with a number of artists such as Fashawn, worked with Frank and Dink, worked with Sky Zoo, worked with Farside, just to name a few, and got a number of projects still coming out later on between this year and next year.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. The track record alone is super awesome, and like I said, I'm glad that you and I got in touch, and you already worked with us on the Proven Knowledge project a couple months ago. And Chaotic Joy, man, that track is great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
For sure. I loved putting it in there as the intro. So.
Hey, I really appreciate it. I'm actually going to play that at one of my shows I have coming up on the 20th. So that's going to be part of my set list.
Yeah,
I've been getting a lot of love for that record.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's very triumphant. It's got great elements and energy to it, and I felt like it was the perfect fit. So again, I appreciate you for sending that one in. And I guess that kind of leads me into my first question, which is I've been listening to a lot of your stuff recently, kind of to prepare as well for the episode, and I noticed that a lot of your stuff is you use a lot of melodic elements, but you use a lot of brass elements too, and just a lot of things that make it feel like very cinematic. Is that like the sounds that you always tend to gravitate towards? And where did that really come from as far as, creating your own sounds? Where did you get to the point where you were like, this is kind of what I want to lean into as far as my sound goes?
Well, my sound, it always varied, and it's been varying every location that I go to. Like right now, I'm in a more cinematic mode. Like I've been trying to change what I've been doing lately to something more epic, so to speak. So when you hear some of my stuff now, especially this year, I've been going for a more cinematic approach. What I've been doing is creating ideas or distant memories in my head, and every time I try to think of something, I also try to come up with a soundtrack to whatever good moments that I used to have back in the day or whatever I'm reminiscing about. And I try to put a soundtrack to it. So that's why if you listen to it, it'll sound, cinematic because I draw inspiration from my own thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever thought about like scoring movies one day? Is that something you want to do, or TV shows or
That
anything?
yeah,
Yeah.
that is definitely something I want to do.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get into the sync game,
Hmm.
so to speak, whether it's one of my uh, pieces of music played in a commercial or something, or somebody give me the opportunity to score a episode or anything like that. That's something that I've always wanted to get into.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have the sound for it, man. So, I think that's something that will definitely happen in due time. I'm sure of it, which is going to be very exciting. And I'm also interested to know, because you said, you're from the States initially, you've lived in different spots in the United States. What led you to go to the UK? Was it strictly for music? Was it personal, or was it a little bit of both?
Yeah, it was personal. I was going through that whole phase. It's time for me to leave, and I wanted to see what else is out there because as you know, a lot of us don't travel in the States. We don't go anywhere. So
Hmm.
I wanted to see what it was like. I first moved from the South to the West Coast, and then from the West Coast, I took a trip to Moscow. Then I lived in Germany for a year, which was amazing. And then the only reason why I ended up over here in the UK was it was a job that I was doing in the States, and I was going for it again in Germany. And since I didn't have a German driver license, they took all of my information and gave it to the London branch,
Hmm.
and they hired me on the spot, which led me to here. So if it wasn't for the people over in Germany, I wouldn't even be over here right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's kind of like everything kind of fell into place as it should, though, with that
Yeah,
scenario, which is nice. That's definitely nice. What do you think you like most about, being stationed in the UK, and just kind of the lifestyle, how it contrasts, how it compares, but how it contrasts to the States, and what do you think you like most about it?
I mean, one of the main things I will say is I still have my job that I do
Hmm.
along with working on my music. I have an amazing work life balance, and that's all I could ever ask for, to be honest with you. So, like, if I'm not doing anything at my job, it gives me the opportunity to just work on something new or go and perform or whatever the case may be. I wasn't able to do any of that in the
Yeah.
States. As you know, it's always work, 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 and make your own time. But
Hmm.
over here, I can balance that shit out and just do whatever it is I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm highly grateful for that.
Yeah. And I'd say that's the goal really for anyone doing music, even if you're not doing live performances. If you're just wanting to work in the studio or do your
Yeah,
own thing, it's like, you're right. Because I feel like a lot of people with 9 to 5s, especially, they have trouble, trying to carve out time. And it's like you got to kind of figure out what schedule works best for you in order to
yeah,
do that. So it's great to hear that you have that currently where the situation is really good and you're able to do that. As far as the music scene itself in the UK or just overseas in general, I've definitely heard a lot of, more underground artists, producers, people that do a lot of touring. They say that if you go over to the UK, they have a much greater appreciation for, underground hip hop, beats, things of that nature. Is that something that you feel is very true from your experience doing shows?
that's extremely true. And it's
Yeah.
not just the UK; it's Europe as a whole
Yeah.
because they'll go off hard and represent for you in Germany. They do the same thing, say in Poland, France, the Netherlands. So that's Europe as a whole.
Yeah.
They're gonna always have that appreciation, especially for a lot of our legends, and they'll always show up for them, show out, recite every word. back to the artists, they always do that. So I feel like all of the countries over here in this continent, they have such a strong appreciation for hip hop. I won't say more than us, because of course we gotta love our own culture. We created it, but we just move faster with it. But over here, when it comes down to our legends, they appreciate it just a little bit more. And when you go to a concert, they're not afraid to get loose, and crowd participation and everything else in between.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I've heard it from so many people now, and just people that I listen to. Like, I've heard it from Apollo Brown talking about his experiences. I've heard it from Black Milk talking about his experiences over there. And he kind of said the same thing, which is like, it's almost like up here we're a little too uptight and a little too afraid to like let loose, because of the mentality of like work, and all that sort of thing. And another thing I heard is that, over here it's a lot of artists that are going to these shows and other producers. Over there, it can sometimes just be normal people that don't make music, that have nothing to do with music, but they're just fans. They just love it, and they're infatuated by it. And that's another part of the difference, I think, too, is that they have no bias. They're just showing up because they really love you and your music, and they're just ready to support it, which is a huge thing. As far as
very true.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the more I'm hearing about it, the more things kind of keep comparing to one another, and it's very, very interesting. As far as doing shows over there, is there a show recently that has kind of stuck out to you, that you just love the energy and you just love the atmosphere, that when you were performing it just went really well?
Absolutely. My very, very first performance over here was at the Loading Bar. It's a bar called Loading, where you could play video games and perform at the same time. And I met this crew. They run this event called Audio Arcade, and they invited me to come over to their event just to perform. Now, I was nervous as hell, because the last time I performed was 2008. I was in college at the time, and there was a beat battle, and I had to battle my mentor. So I haven't performed in a very long time. But when I went there to do my beat set for the first time in 2023, seeing how people gravitated towards it and how they was enjoying it, it was such an amazing feeling. And that was my very first show, and that's never gonna leave me.
It's good to be able to do the first show too, I think, and have that type of an experience, so that I think it gives you confidence moving forward too, to be able to go and do different things, and continue to perform, and meet new people along the way as well. And I know you've been also going to shows out there too as a fan. You just saw Elzai, I think, like a couple days ago.
It was Evidence.
Oh, was it Evidence?
Evidence, yeah. Okay. I saw Elzai 2 years ago. Okay. 2 years ago, I saw Elzai at the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Nice.
When it was Elzai, Fat Cat, Guilty Simpson, Big Daddy Kane, Marco Polo, Master Ace, like all of them was there. That shit was crazy.
Well, how was the Evidence show then?
The Evidence show, man, that was just last night. Shit was crazy.
Yeah,
it was, man. He showed out. He really did, and it was good to see him before the show and chop it up with him as well. Because the last time I saw him was in 2018, and I remember I edited a photo with me and him, and he liked it so much he wanted the photo, and he just started sharing that shit around.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit coffee.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that coffee link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. Yeah, that's really awesome. Is that something you've been doing, as well when you get time, is kind of going to shows and supporting other artists, when you can?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of this thing called hip hop. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan first before anything. So I'm gonna always show up, show out, appreciate the art, appreciate what's going on, and just be in the moment. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this thing.
Yeah. Me too, man. And that's a big thing to do, I think, is to be able to go out and support other artists and still be a fan, because like I said, I think a big contrast even from, like we were talking about the difference between overseas and the United States, I think a lot of people over here are afraid to show their fandom sometimes.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Especially dudes, it's like, hey, it's cool to let loose and get cool. We get caught up in this whole thing of trying to be cool 24/7, trying to impress girls that don't even really know who you are or like you, and it's like, man, they either gonna like you or not. You paid a lot of money to go out there and really feel the music.
Yeah, you
didn't pay like $300 just to sit there with your damn arms folded. Like that's stupid. You can do that at home.
Not only that, I always think, like, especially as producers and we're just fans of music, I think we're big nerds at the end of the day. Like, we are nerdy people. We're nerdy about music, we're nerdy about production, we're nerdy about all this other stuff. So it's like, we could try to be cool all we want, but at the end of the day, we're just big nerds, man. Like, that's all we So.
And it's nothing wrong with letting that nerd them out.
No, definitely not.
Just go ahead and nerd out.
Yeah.
Every time I go to a Black Milk show, every time he make a beat, every time he plays something on stage, y'all go crazy over it.
Yeah.
And especially when it's an unreleased beat that's not out.
Yeah.
And he's previewing it. You can't help but to nerd out as a producer and just enjoy what he's doing on stage.
Yeah. For sure. I think that brings up another good question, which is, who are you listening to, like, currently? Obviously, you probably have a lot of influences, but who have you been listening to recently that you've just been enjoying their stuff?
Oh, yeah. Recently, definitely Alchemist. Alchemist going to always be right there. Mad Lib. I still got to get Mad Raps. I can't believe I let that vinyl slip by me. But when it comes to who I'm listening to, I always listen to producers first rather than rappers. And that's only because I'm a producer myself. And I love to listen to different techniques that another producer have used to make the beats that they're making. So Alchemist, Mad Lib, Pete Rock. I'm going to always and forever tune into whatever Dr. Dre do. Soundwave, those are the people who I'm checking for the most.
Yeah. I've gotten in the habit of that too, as far as, when I see a producer's doing a full album with someone, I'm like, looking at that, I'm like, let me check that out. Because I already know the full sound of it is going to be cohesive throughout the whole project. Like you said, Pete Rock, he did the album with Common last summer. Yeah. And I was super intrigued by that, because I'm like, Common's one of my favorite MCs, and him with a classic, like, 90s style production, that's going to be pretty crazy. And it was a great album. So yeah, and I think that's really coming back, to being a thing more often now. Which is
especially
great.
This decade.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, and I gotta give the credit to the people who brought that shit to the forefront. Nas and Hit Boy.
Yeah.
What they did with the King Disease and the Magic series, one producer, one MC, The album is cohesive. It's you could tell when someone is producing the artist. It was just flawless to me. So I think that set the tone for what we got right now. And I wanted to go back to the Pete Rock and Common album. What makes that album so special and so unique to me is the beats that Pete Rock was producing on it. It sounded like his sound just elevated to a completely different level.
Yeah.
It still had that classic 90s sound, but it didn't sound like it was 90s. It sounded like it was
modern,
in the now.
Yeah, that God, what's that record called? Stellar. I played that song so many times in the last year. Oh man.
Let me tell you,
That's
time then and now.
Yes.
That one and This Man. Those are my favorite tracks. And Fortunate. Yes, it's so many incredible records on that album that I could just talk about all damn day.
Yeah. I knew right when they put out, I think they put out Wise Up as the first single. Right when I heard that, I'm like, yep, it's a lock. This thing's going to be crazy. And it was. So, and I'm excited for Volume 2. I don't know when that's going to be coming out, but whenever they decide to do it, it's going to be great.
I think Volume 2 going to end up coming out next year or so because it's a little too soon to put out Volume 2, especially after the success of Volume 1.
Yeah, like having the Grammy nod and all
like
that stuff.
It's like, let the album breathe a little bit.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's crazy because I still find it wild that Nas and Hit Boy did 6 in 3 years and they were all top notch. I was like, how did they actually do that and make them all that high quality? It's wild to me. My favorite out of those 6 is probably King's Disease 3. I think that one is a 10 out of 10 album.
Oh yeah, King Disease 3 was just amazing. The fact that he had 0 features on there. Yeah. And it's just him. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that like 17 tracks?
Yeah, it was at least 15 for sure.
16, 17 it was one of them. Yep. But that album, no features, just him and Hit Boy. It was such an incredible album. And they pulled that shit off.
Yeah. I'll never know how they did it, man, but it's incredible, and I don't think we're gonna see anything like that specifically again. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because Hit Boy gave Nas his second win. Yeah, he gave him his second win, and he sounds so fresh. He sound so hungry on those records. He sounded youthful. He didn't sound tired or anything like that.
Yeah. Are you excited for the DJ Premier Nas album that's coming out soon?
I'm worried. I'm worried about it.
Why is that?
And I love Primo from the moon and back. Yeah. The reason why I'm worried is because we've been waiting on that album for, you might as well say 30-some years or coming up on 30 years. And we're just now getting it now after he did this incredible body of work with Hit Boy. And lately, what I've been hearing with DJ Premier, it hasn't really been, it hasn't elevated like how he elevated his sound when he worked with Royce the 5'9" for Prime. Yeah. That's the DJ Premier that I want to hear with Nas. I want to hear that fresh, risky, boundary pushing DJ Premier. I want to hear that when he worked with Nas.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I saw he's doing an album with Rock Marciano coming up as well. Yeah. Now I myself, I'm not the biggest Rock Marciano fan. I'll say that. I don't have anything against him. It's just not my style. But I'm gonna check out that album to see what that sounds like. And then I think the Nas one is gonna be coming out probably in the fall, from what I've heard.
I wouldn't be surprised if it come out in December, to be honest with you. Because what Mass Appeal is doing right now is amazing. June we had Slick Rick. Last month we had Raekwon. Yep. This month we got Ghostface Killer coming in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, Supreme Clientele too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and it got some people worried. I understand because Supreme Clientele is a classic masterpiece of an album. So yeah, I can understand people worried for it.
Yeah.
But I do like Rap Kingpin.
Yeah.
I like that record.
Yeah.
So,
It
so
it's
you
quite the
know,
debate too, because it's like I feel like when someone does that and they make a number two or a number three of like an older classic, you're kind of setting yourself up like, okay, people might not enjoy it, not because of the music, but because you called it that. You know what I
well,
mean?
yeah,
Because
you
they're gonna
got that
compare
factor
it.
in
They're gonna
as well.
compare it to the original, which is interesting to think about. But yeah, a lot of great hip hop coming out this year, and it's already
Oh
come out
yeah,
this year too. I guess as far as we'll kind of go back to your creative process and what you've been doing recently. You've had kind of a mix of doing beat tapes mixed with doing collab albums and EPs with artists. Are you kind of just going with the flow nowadays? You're just kind of going from one project to the next, or you just kind of, do you have this strategically planned out? Like you're going to work with this artist here, and then you're going to put out this next release at this point, or is it kind of a mix of all that at this point
it's
in your
it's
journey?
kind of a mix of everything. I kind of tend not to plan anything because when you plan something, you're setting yourself up for something to just backfire.
Hmm.
So right now, everything is going with the flow. When me and Prawb did Time and Space, we had no idea that it was going to take off the way it did.
Yeah.
We that album. Well, with me and him, we intended on doing a whole album, but life got in the way,
Hmm.
and um, some personal things happened that I won't speak on regarding him and his family.
Hmm.
So we decided to at least give the fans an EP as a thank you for the support that they've been having for us over the years. So we did that. Had no idea that it was going to blow up the way it blew up.
Yeah.
Then me and Transformer, we've been thinking about putting out another album in our collection for the longest. We did what we did. Again, didn't think that was gonna blow up the way it blew up, but the shit took off.
Yeah.
And we couldn't be any happier. It
Yeah.
landed us in magazines. We're extremely proud of that project. And now what's coming up now is my new album that's supposed to be coming sometime this year.
Nice. I like with Time and Space too that you, even though it's an EP, you still put the instrumentals on there on the back half too, which was pretty
Yeah,
cool. So it's like you're still giving people a lot of music to dive into, which I like a lot. And then obviously the project with you and Transformer is kind of like you guys going back and forth. Like it was like your beat,
yeah.
his beat, your beat, his beat. I thought that was really cool. So I guess from with your album coming up, what can we expect from this project? Is there anything you want to reveal about it, or just anything we should know about it?
Oh yeah. Like with this album, I was very careful with this album because it's the follow up to my award winning album, The Mind's Mirror.
Hmm.
And with The Mind's Mirror, it was 20 tracks with me going off with a bunch of different samples, and they were pretty much my brilliant ideas from my mind. And it was so good, and I got a lot of love for it, and everything was just going wonderful with it. I wanted to step away from it, and I wanted to try something different. So I wanted to try my hand at composing.
Hmm.
So on this new album, it's basically me coming with different sounds from what I normally do. I chose to stay completely away from lo-fi. There's no lo-fi on this album at all. I wanted to pour inspiration from all of the styles that I've done from 2000 all the way up until now. Because when I first started, I was a trap producer.
Hmm.
So I want to pull elements from there, elements from boom bap, elements from like West Coast type of music, and I wanted to make something different with just me composing it and bringing it to the forefront. And instead of me telling people that I'm gonna come with a new sound, I'm just gonna show it to you so you can listen to it instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it shows versatility as well. It shows that you have a lot of different things that you gravitate towards and a lot of different things you can do as
Yeah.
well. So that's exciting, man. And is there any like tentative date currently that you have kind of picked out or any time frame that you're going to be dropping it?
I'm looking at sometime. I'm looking at sometime at the end of September.
Okay. So like,
I'm aiming for the end of September.
yeah,
I don't know the actual date yet, but it's going to be somewhere around there.
nice. So about a month and a half from now, when we're looking
Yeah.
at. Nice.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If everything goes well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. So, but I'm excited for it, man. And early congrats on that as well.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
100%. And we're down to the last few questions here, and these are ones I ask on every single episode. The first one is if you could go back 10 years ago and give yourself any piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
10 years ago, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have, the only thing I'll say is I would have looked for a better distributor. Because 10 years ago, the distributor that I did have, they didn't look after anything. Me and my artist did for quite some time, and I thought they were the only people to deal with. So I probably would have looked for another distributor.
Yeah. The more you know over time.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. And if we flip that, then we say, 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself musically and in life as well?
10 years from now, 10 years from now, can't really answer that because I can't look into the future. Yeah. And right now, everything is just going my way, and I tend to just keep it that way.
Yeah. I've always heard that saying, the most successful people, they stay in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I feel that one. I can respect that. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Yeah, just keep putting out your music. Don't shorten your input. At the end of the day, this music is your legacy, and you want to leave that behind so people can have something to remember you by. So, the longer you keep it on your hard drive, the more it's just going to rot away. So put that shit out and let everybody see it.
Mm-hmm. No doubt, man. Well, man, I got to say thank you again for wanting to stop by today. I think we had a pretty cool discussion, and I'm glad I got to kind of nerd out with you about some hip hop stuff. And you're welcome back anytime, man. So congrats on what you're doing, and keep up the good work. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 270. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send us any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.